Okay, guys, I'm just going to give you a few moments before we get cracking, and hopefully people can log in without any difficulty. I'll put it on so you don't need to get clearance to sign in. So just 2 moments, guys. Okay, so we get cracking, guys. So you're very welcome to today's fourth continuous educational pit stop. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm not going to go through a load of slides today. If there is questions towards the end, I will pull up slides and maybe cover them in the next one or send them out to the attendees of today. So this workshop is for coaches, trainers, and gym owners, hopefully giving you usable information that you can implement with your clients ASAP. Bring that camera down a little smaller bit. Okay, so the major questions that we got in were digestive health, vitamin D, Joe Rogan, business books, misconception of high performance training, and how to develop a winning performance team. So first question let's address is digestive health. So I'm actually in the clinic now at the moment, and one of the questions we get a lot is, what test should I do for someone that has digestive distress? What diet protocol should I follow if somebody is having reflux, SIBO, gastrointestinal reflux, ulcers and whatever it may be? First things first is we start with diet. So in order for you to assess whether someone has dietary issues, a lot of people feel that when people have digestive issues, a lot manifests in the good in relation to being constipated, having diarrhea, having a wind. It's shown that a lot of gut permeability issues or intestinal permeability compromisation happens in the brain, happens in the immune system, happens in cognition, as how being as sharp as you can be. What we're looking to do is to assess whether someone's firing on all cylinders, what way they're sleeping, what way they're recovering. So although you may have digestive problems, as in you're not absorbing food, you may not necessarily see that in your gut, you may not necessarily see it in your stool. It will manifest in low energy. It will manifest in a lowered immune system. It will manifest in you not being as sharp or cognitively enhanced as you normally would be. So the first thing we do is we do a dietary evaluation where we assess your diet for 3 up to 7 days. And what that does is that tells us how much food is coming in. In order for you to give anyone recommendations on food, it's so important we find out what they're actually consuming. Now, as we know, it's not what you eat that it makes you up, it's what you assimilate and you absorb. And unfortunately, if you want to call it the little pack men or pack women that break food down to absorb your food are enzymes, cofactors. And in order to have these enzymatic functions, pancreatic function, insulin sensitivity, in order for us to break this food down in absorbable forms or molecules for us to absorb into our cells, we need these enzymes to be sufficient and at a higher level. Now, if they are deficient in vitamins and minerals, we can't make them. If we don't have the enzymes to break the food down, we can't absorb them. So it's a bit of a vicious cycle. So that's why Charles Poliquin, a big mentor of mine, would start with supplements first. I'm not necessarily saying that, but what I am saying is some food is harder to digest than others. So if you feel a client is getting a bit of a swollen belly afterwards, if you feel a client has dry skin, if you feel a client isn't switched on as normal, well, then maybe we'd look at their fatty acid intake. And we're looking then at the liver function, we're looking then at gallbladder function, we're looking then how well they're absorbing those nutrients. So first thing I would do is look at a 3 to 7 day food diet. Then I would ask them how sharp they feel. If they've been always the same way, well, maybe that's not a manifestation. Or they've been really sharp and they've gone right down again. Or maybe they've gone on a lower calorie diet. One of the issues that I have with low calorie diets is every low calorie diet is a macro. They have to take some sort of macronutrient down low or all of them down low in order to be in a calorie deficit, which is 100% fine. I have no issue with that whatsoever. However, any diet that is deficient in macros or is in a calorie deficit, you have to address and offset the micronutrient imbalance caused by lower macronutrients. Macronutrients bring in our micronutrients, thereby bringing lower macronutrients in. We're going to have a lower micronutrient status. So it is essentially important that we compensate, adhere, and address the deficiencies caused by going on a calorie deficit diet. In conjunction with that, a lot of people that go on a calorie deficit diet go in and exercise excess, which means they exercise more, eat less, which is fine. I have no problem with that. But take into consideration that you're burning more micronutrients, you're taking less in, that you have to offset that. Maybe it's a multivitamin, maybe it's a blood test, maybe it's a green drink fortified with vitamins and minerals and probiotics, whatever it may be. But take this into consideration. So when it comes to digestive health, ask your clients, is there any swelling, any bloating, any gassing? Is there any, impaired cognitive function? Is your immune system lowered? And then from there, we add the foods in, make sure we're having our foods that have our proteins, our fats, and our carbs at breakfast, lunch, and dinner. One of my really easy ways of remembering things is the ABCDE diet. It has to be adequate protein. What is adequate protein? It's different for different people. The bigger you are, maybe you need more. The more weight training you are, maybe you need more. However, some people don't have the function to tolerate a lot of protein. They may need to have some protein or liquid intake there. So adequate protein to maintain muscle mass and maintain performance. B, we balance the fat. Balance the fatty acid intake, in particular the omega-3, 6s, and 9, and making sure we're getting a good, spectrum of fatty acids coming into the body. C is we control our carbohydrates. We cycle and we control our carbohydrates around activity level in conjunction with your body composition. D is we do diversify. So we mix the different food sources we come in. If I asked everybody out there a quick poll on how many different foods do you eat on a regular basis, or your clients eat on a regular basis, what would the answer be? One or two: chicken and beef, or chicken and turkey. Turkey is a big one in the fitness world. Again, this webinar is for coaches, trainers, and gym owners. So if you're a general pop, guys, I appreciate some of this might be too fast and over your head. That's okay. You can watch this back. So D is diversify. So you mix up your food. I said to a client yesterday in the gym, I said, Irish people are funny. When you say mince to Irish people, what do they think? They think of beef. For some reason in our psyche, we think of minced meat is always beef. Well, you can mince any meat. You can mince lamb, turkey, chicken, whatever it may be. And when you mince meat, you increase the surface area. So that's actually processing the meat. So people think that processing meat is always bad. 9 times out of 10, it generally is. They process it, they denature it, they color it, they add preservatives and so on. But actually any processing, any cooking of meat is processing it. Steaming vegetables is a process. So the fact is, when you process meat, as in you mince it down, real good, hormone-free, organic if you can, you want to get the best quality food source you can. By mincing it down, you increase the surface area. When you increase the surface area of the food, it's like, without being disgusting, the machine is chewing it for you before you chew it. So it allows more enzymatic surface area for you to break down the food and assimilate it more. So if a woman did have issues, or a man have issues breaking food down, by having a minced meat or a bolognese, or a chili, or just minced meat in general, a yuk sung or lettuce, whatever it may be, you can actually increase or enhance the capabilities of your digestive system to absorb the food. And you can mix up lamb one day, turkey one day, duck one day, chicken one day, beef one day, and so on. It allows the body to absorb it much more efficiently. The reason why I say females is a lot of females that I test are anemic. Very low hemoglobin, very low iron, very low ferritin, very big, or a macrocytic anemia. So MCV is very high, their cells are very high, and they've got cold hands, cold feet, and they're very fatigued. If a female is fatigued or a male is fatigued, one of the major goals of most people going to the gym is to burn fat. In order for you to have a better oxidation or a fat burning inside the actual mitochondria, we need fat, which, believe it or not, we all have enough of, and we need some sort of oxygen supply in order for that fire to burn. You're not going to light a fire in your house in a vacuum. You need oxygen to be delivered to the working muscles, to the mitochondria, in order for that to be burned. So if someone's anemic, you're not going to get there. So then you can see how someone's digestive health can compromise their anemia status, which can compromise their fat loss, and then they eat less food, have less micronutrients, have less enzymatic function, have impaired better oxidation, and then increase their fat storage rather than their fat elimination. So, A, adequate protein. B, balance the fats. C, control the carbohydrates. D, diversify the food. And E stands for eliminate. Eliminate. For every client I've ever had with digestive issues, there's always in some sort of food category, individual food, whether it be alcohol, whether it be lactose, whether it be MSG, whether it be peanuts, shrimps, broccoli, chicken, turkey, whatever it is, there's always been some sort of food that I need to take out of the diet. So there's generally something that I would eliminate for people. It may not be an immune response. It maybe just doesn't agree with the person that well. So there's always something that I eliminate. And the last one there, F, is I fast. I do some sort of fasting to allow the digestive system that time to recover, regenerate, and heal itself. There is situations for enzymatic intake. There is definitely some probiotic support. There's definitely some sort of glutamine or glycine, stuff that you can do to help rebuild the gut, like Arabinex and FOS and so on. Loads of things you can add in. But start off with the basics. Start with the things that work. Adequate protein. Balance the fats. Control the carbohydrates, diversify your food, eliminate some category of food, and play around with fasting. I didn't say intermittent fasting, fasting to allow the digestive system the time, the availability to heal itself. Our gut cells or enterocytes turn over every 3 to 7 days. So given the right opportunity, they hopefully will enhance themselves and absorb food much better. At seminars, I used to say to people, who here's got a leaky gut? And nobody puts their hand up, and 1 or 2 people put their hand up. I said, we all have gut permeability. We all have intestinal permeability. If we didn't have intestinal permeability, we wouldn't absorb any food. It's selective, controlled gut permeability is what we're looking for. And if we've got big leaky gut, if we've got compromised gut lining, if we've got damage to the villi, if we've got compromised enzymatic function, if we've got a slow peristalsis going on, if we've got we're in a sympathetic dominant state, we may not be in the ideal state to absorb, assimilate, and get our food into our body correctly. Okay, vitamin D, I'm not going to go into here. I'll just say that Robbie Bennett, one of our coaches, talked a lot about that. He'll cover that in huge detail. Key thing I would say is test yourself. I wouldn't recommend anyone take a high dosage, anything above 2,000 IUs a day, unless they're tested. Testing it is crucially important, in my opinion. Joe Rogan is the next question. Ooh, not going to tackle that one either. I love Joe's presentations. I love his workshops. I like how impartial he is. I think some people, when they see snippets of his videos, tend to slag him off. I think he's very open-minded. I think anyone that just puts the information out there, maybe sometimes he might be, and he said this recently in the video, he might have too many people on one side and not on the other side to give a basic support, but that's up to the person to educate themselves, to do the due diligence before they make any feedback on that. So definitely think Joe is doing a good job about getting information out there, but it's up to the listener, it's up to the person to take action and accountability for what they subject their information to. The social media shouldn't be your only source of information, that's for sure. Okay, the top 5 business books. So I know who this is from. So Dr. Shane Lawler sent this in. Myself and himself have a big passion for reading on a regular basis. So when it comes to business books only work if you put the actual information into practice. Information that you have in your brain isn't usable unless you apply it. So applied knowledge, as my friend Kevin Darby says, we want to make sure the information that we learn, we implement it into our business the very next day. So one of the first books I recommend is Good to Great by Jim Collins. That's Good to Great by Jim Collins. The next one I just read recently was 2.5 by Gary Vee. So if you've read anything about Gary Vee, jab, 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 right hook, that's his information. 12.5. He really takes a different outlook on things, and I really agree with how he's looking at things from a broader point of view. And actually, I'm going to cover a little bit of this towards the end. I honestly feel the longer you're in business, the longer you're managing a team, the longer you've tried different avenues of your business that have been successful, but you've learned from them, the more open-minded you are to look at things from a more holistic is the wrong word, but more of a top end view. So you're looking down on things a bit more and saying, okay, I need to address this staff member, I need to address this team. This is how I like to do my ethics. This is how I look after people. I want to be known for someone that runs a credible, respectable business, rather than just being focused on the end line all the time, because I think that can get you in trouble many times. Next one is Business Made Simple by Donald Miller. I actually did all their courses online, some really good information there on business made simple, negotiations made simple, proposals made simple, marketing made simple. He covers a lot of content on his course. With the book, you actually get access to a 60-day course where he sends you a video every single day on different components of the book. So it really allows you to read it and get a video on it and really get it linked into your brain. So I really like the way he delivers that content, so strongly recommend people check that out. Next one there is Tiredless by Kim Lorenzes. So Tiredless was, I think it's linked to the Michelin star. I think they were involved in tires at one point, and then the company's branched out into having a high standard of care. I'm sure we've all been, well, maybe not been to Michelin star restaurants before, but again, the quality of care, the attention to detail from when you walk into, when you go to the bathrooms, when you sit down, every aspect of the business of a high level. And that's what it should be in all aspects, whether it be a gym, a chiropractic center, a clinic, a massage center, flotation therapy, whether it be supplement sales. It has to be excellence in all the touch points that you have with your business or your clients have with your business. Next one there is Coach to Coach by Martin Rooney. I met Martin a number of times. Very nice guy, very switched on coach. He's been around a long time, and you get a lot from that, particularly coaches and trainers out there. And then last one there is Taking People With You by David Novak. A really good book in relation to building a team. And I think he, as far as I remember, he uses a bus as an analogy where he says you want the right people on the bus, but more importantly, you want the wrong people off the bus. I've been doing that myself, where I have people involved in the team that weren't pulling in the same direction, that may not have the same drive. And although they're willing at certain times to contribute, they're more of a harness and more of a drain on the company and more of a drain on the team, because they're not as willing as other people on the team. So again, getting the right people on the bus as important, getting the wrong people off the bus as soon as you can in a controlled, happy and satisfying manner. Next one there is the misconception around high performance. So I've been involved in high performance teams when it comes to Paralympics, when it comes to the Olympics, when it comes to Premiership soccer players, rugby players, BMX racers. I've had cyclists, I've had high jumpers, I have hurdlers, I had all sorts of athletes over my 25 plus years of coaching people. And what I would say is it's different. Sometimes when you're in a team environment, people don't get one-to-one attention. Sometimes on a one-to-one attention point of view, there may be resources issues or supplement issues, or the doctors are not talking to the physios aren't talking to the coaches. So for me, when it comes to high performance, the most important person is the athlete. And what is best for the athlete, rather than what's best for the medical department or the sports science department or the funding department or what resources are available, it's the client, it's the athlete that's the most important team. So assessing what the performance plan needs to be for that person. I'm lucky enough to have a consultancy company in Azerbaijan where we look after a lot of athletes, from rowers to boxers to weightlifters to wrestlers. And one of my first exposures to them, I just went in and assessed what the current performance plan was for the actual team, for the athletes themselves. And there's always areas that can be improved, whether it be sleep, whether it be travel, whether it be food, whether it be timing of food, whether it be the timing of travel, whether it be the sequence of the competitions, whether it be the peaking, how many times they're asked to peak, how aggressive the training was. So for me, there's a lot of misconceptions around high performance, and sometimes people feel it's always in the weight room. And I've been prone to this in my younger years, where I just sat in the strength training box. And I see this now, guys that came to courses, guys that continue to study in a certain, pigeonhole with strength training, bands, chains, bungees, squatting, deadlifting, powerlifting, all these movements. Weight training would directly enhance powerlifting, directly enhance Olympic lifting, and to a certain degree CrossFit. But other than that, there's no direct correlation to improvement in performance in the weight room directly to the sport. So if you're a tennis player, if you're an MMA athlete, if you're a boxer, if you're a long distance runner, if you're a cyclist, you 100% can get enhancement from a physical point of view to enhance your performance in the weight room, doing your conditioning work and so on, but it's not directly transferred. So you're building better bodies. So you have to look at a more complete performance approach. You need to look at recovery, you need to look at sleep, you need to look at vitamin status, digestion, immune system, cognition, mindset, psychology. So there's the whole realm that you need to be, you don't have to be an expert in, but you need to be able to be a player on the team. So as a team member, as an S&C coach or a nutritionist or whatever your role is going to be, you need to work with the medical team, with the recovery team, with the kit team, with the travel team, with the technical coach, with the practical coach, in order to make sure that you're putting together a program to enhance that player's or that team's capabilities and performances. Sometimes people feel that the physios and the strength and conditioning coaches butt heads. They shouldn't. They should have a respect for one another and be speaking on the same hymn sheet, because diluted messages or confusing messages to the athlete can compromise things. And from dealing with athletes for years, you need to make sure you look after the athlete. You don't stress them out. You're enhancing their well-being, their psychological well-being, and their physical well-being. So there's a lot of misconceptions when it comes to S&C, high performance, that it's all about lifting weights. It's all about supplement. It's all about the person. It's all about the recovery. Some people can handle much more volume than other people. Other people, competition really stresses them out. So there needs to be a preparation or a preparatory phase in relation to psychology with a sports psychologist for stuff like that. But always thinking that your box is the only box is S&C or nutrition is flawed. Performance is the key thing. And you could have the fittest, strongest, healthiest guy or girl on the basketball court or on the rugby pitch, and they still don't win. So again, it's not always about physical conditioning. We're looking at mental conditioning, we're looking at preparation, and we're looking for the environment, that we're enhancing our athletes in all aspects that we can in a unified manner as a team environment, focus on the athlete and the team's performance. Right, so on that last note, what I'm going to do is, hopefully I haven't ran too much. I've kept it, again, 20 minutes is where I wanted to be, but I gave myself a window of going a little bit higher. So the next one I want to talk about is something that I get across to most of the guys that come and see me, and I call it the team. So first of all, as an S&C coach, your talent is so important that you need to make sure that your talent, your knowledge in that area of expertise is crucial. So whether you're an S&C coach, staying abreast of all the S&C research. If you're a nutritionist, staying abreast of all the nutritional research. And there's two components there. Research is one thing, but practical knowledge is another. So align yourself with coaches and experts in the field that are learning stuff at the ground level. So one of my directors of the company, John Connor, he went off and he did his PhD on weight cutting, but he did that research, he got published, and he's got his PhD, which is brilliant. But John's been doing the weight cutting methods that he researched and published his research in for 10 years before he did that research. So you can learn on the ground level, go to these coaches, go to experts in the field and learn from them before that necessarily goes to research and gets published. Because again, you're going to be 10, 15 years out of date. So learn on the ground as best you can from the experts in the field. People like Carl Dietz, phenomenal S&C coach. A friend of mine, Barry Solon, he's over in Arsenal. These are the people that are in the trenches with people that we can learn a lot of information from. Now, having said that, if you're a trainer or a coach or a gym owner, maybe that's not your persona. And in the business world or the marketing world, we have an avatar or persona, but we're directing our business towards. You need to know what people you're targeting your business towards, because then you want to learn from the people that deal with those people in other countries. I'm fortunate enough that I converse with coaches and I mentor a lot of people in New Zealand, Australia, Sweden, Hong Kong, Ireland, Saudi Arabia. I'm blessed that I have so many people that I work with on a regular basis. And as I give them systems and methods to help them develop their teams and their processes and their system, I learn from what they're doing. So again, this one thing I'm going to share with you is universal. Whether you're an S&C coach, a gym owner, a trainer, by putting this system into place, but building a team of talented experts that you can have as a resource will help you deliver the best service to the clientele you have. Whether that be 50-year-old males or females, whether that be people enhancing fertility, maybe it's weight loss, maybe it's, under 30 years of age, maybe you're someone that specializes in above 50-year-old one-to-one clients, stress executives, whatever it may be. Is there's people out there that are experts in aspects of the clientele that you're dealing with that you can learn to up your talent. You constantly have to up educate yourself. As the saying goes, you learn more to earn more. Next, energy. Energy. I see coaches and I see business owners and they are wiped. We've all had those days where we've gone to work and we've been super focused and we get so much work done in a short space of time. Why? Because we're energized, we're focused, we're engaged. We have that power of engagement. We need that every single day, whether you check your HRV, whether you're checking some other biomarker, but you need to be focused and switched on all the time, rather than being in work for 6 to 7 hours, not getting the same quality and quantity of work done that you want to have that laser energy focus on what you're looking to do. And you can only have that energy if you work on what's called the return of investment. So when it comes to an investment world, people always look at, well, what's my return on my investment here? Your investment is your time. So you're focusing your time on what's going to give you a return of your investment of time. I can't stress this enough. I'm sure we've all had people in our lives that have passed away. We may have kids, we may not have kids, but time is the most precious commodity. Don't care how many millions you have in the bank, how many billions you have in the bank, it will not buy you extra time when your time is up. So having more energy, having more focus, you'll get more done in less time with better return. Rather than being zapped full of energy, we've all been hungover and trying to work when you're hungover, you're getting nothing done. Your creativity is in the toilet, your cognition, your collaboration is terrible. But when you're 100% focused, you're engaged, you're switched on, it's amazing what your brain can do. And if you're a coach, trainer, gym owner, you're someone that's been working for yourself, or you've been driving the business yourself, and when you're fully on, you are on. But when you're off, you're dragging your heels. So make sure you work on your talent, and make sure you work on your energy every single day, because if your energy is down, the business is down, success is down, the team is down. Next thing is action. You read all these books, you listen to these webinars, you might be sitting there saying, well, I don't actually agree with what Eoin's saying. That's fine, that's no problem. You're not in the same situation as me, and I'm not in the same situation as you. However, that doesn't mean we can't stand on the shoulders of giants. We can learn from other people's experiences. Coaches back in the day say, oh, you need to do A, B, and C, but they were still writing emails and writing letters and not sending emails. Now we're touching phones. We've got so many different apps to downsize our stress, to maximize our return, but we're not. We're getting bled. We're leeching our time and focus on aspects of our lives that are not bringing us forward. Every email, every interaction, every minute, every hour you have in your day is either taking you forward towards the life that you're looking for or stepping you back. I am a huge fan of my full focus planner from Michael Hyatt. I've been using these diaries now for years. And before I had these diaries, I was just using a normal diary. But every day my tasks are done. Every day my ritual is done. My start of day ritual, my start of workday ritual, my end of workday ritual, and my end of day ritual. So I compartmentalize it. I don't get up and start answering emails straight out of the bed. I get up, I engage with my wife, my kids, have breakfast, I shower, I'll come to work, and then I engage. And I will check my first client and my first appointment, so I may need to go to a different location, but it's not all mixed together. You can't be a father or a husband or a partner if you're engaging in work mode the minute you get out of bed, and sometimes before you get out of bed. So that different hat that we wear is crucially important. And putting this information you learn into action. Don't just talk about it. Don't procrastinate about it. Don't be posting on Facebook, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that. You take away the dopamine effect from it. Do it. Do it every single day. Small steps every single day, but hold yourself accountable. And then the last one there is M. So M is for mindset. I've been lucky enough to work with psychologists for many years, and this growth mindset, as Carol Dweck talks about it in her book Mindset, having a growth mindset, taking feedback, looking at situations, reframing them, what I can learn from them. I've had multiple different business avenues. Some have been very successful, some I've learned a lot from, some I wasn't qualified enough, or I didn't have the revenue or the money or the time to devote to it. I remember laughing to a friend of mine recently that I set up virtualstrengthcoach.com. Like, you're talking 15, 16 years ago, and it cost me a lot of money to get the website up and going back then. People are going, online training on, what are you talking about? Virtual strength coach. Nobody's going to pay. People barely pay personal trainers. You can't work with a full-time S&C coach in Ireland, and you're looking to put an online program online where people fill in a questionnaire, they get sectioned off and sent to a relative coach and female fat loss or hypertrophy or powerlifting or sports training. That's never going to work. And you know what? I didn't follow it through. I set it up. I spent a lot of money. I got a team of guys involved, but I was too busy with other aspects of my business that I couldn't develop it. Imagine now if I had to follow it through. Now things change. However, there's aspects of your business that you go off in, but having a growth mindset realizes, well, what did I learn from that? If you're constantly trying different things, you don't have to put all your eggs in one basket. If all your eggs in one basket and someone says, no, that won't work, you're going to really defend that. But you've got multiple different avenues, and particularly with the pandemic, you have to have different tools in your toolbox. You have to have different strains of revenue coming into your business to make it successful. Maybe it's the corporate world. Maybe it's athletes. Maybe it's fat loss. Maybe it's group training. Maybe it's one-to-one training. Maybe it's osteopathy. Maybe it's flotation therapy. Maybe it's, saunas. Maybe it's a nutritional clinic. Maybe it's supplementation. Maybe it's online training. Maybe it's boot camps. Maybe it's retreats away. So all these things I've done in the past, and components of what I still do now: online education, supporting other coaches, business mentoring, giving your advice to people. If you get in front of people that want to hear what you have to say, that's what they pay for. And if you can add value to somebody, and as Martin Rooney says in his book, Coach to Coaches, a coach is someone that gets somebody somewhere they can't get on their own. So would you get to someone to lose 10 kilos? Or would you get someone to enhance their fertility? Or would you get a high-level executive to be able to perform at a high level 5 days a week, consistently for a year? They will pay you for that. So you get in front of the people that want to listen to what you have to say, and for you to constantly educate yourself, your talent, have good energy all the time, action your thoughts, action your business. M is going to stand for your mindset. Make sure you work on your growth mindset all the time. And that's the team. So many business guys out there, coaches, trainers, gym owners. One of the big issues I see is they don't have a team. They don't have someone to the right of them or to the left of them to support them, bring them forward with the same mindset, the same, focus. If we're all playing football or rugby, and we all know our common goal, we all know our positions, we all know what our job is in that position, we will play that game. We may not always win, but we'll always learn from the experience. Whether we win, draw, or lose, we're going to know what we can need to improve because we're all putting together. We all know our position. But if somebody is slacking, if somebody isn't putting the work in, if somebody isn't performing correctly, well then, as Jim Collins says, well, maybe that person should be on the bus, you know, maybe we move that person on. They're not helping the team move forward. So having those people beside you is so crucially important to move the team forward. And if you're a trainer and you're probably very successful as a trainer or as a coach, you're very successful, but your success isn't solely down to you. It's down to the athlete and the team around you. If you want to step things up and scale your business, you work on your due diligence, you get the talent, you bring somebody in that is talented in the business aspect or the marketing aspect or the website or the apps or whatever component of the avatar you're looking to develop, but you need to build a team. And that team will bring you towards success. Any executive, any billionaire, any millionaire that I've ever worked with, it's a team effort. Okay, yes, there's a manager. Yes, there's a head coach. Yes, there's a captain of the team. There will always be somebody putting forward, but it's not a singularity. It's not on their own. It's the success of the team. And one person speaks to another person, who speaks to 3, 4, 5, 10, and so on. So no matter how big your company is or how successful it is, it's a team effort. Yes, there'll be driving forces. Yes, there'll be innovation. Yes, there'll be, collaboration with other teams, but it's a team effort. It's all the people coming together. And that's what it stands for. T, talent, A, energy, E, energy, A, action, M for mindset is your team. And the last thing there is what I call the I team. So you've seen this before. You've obviously heard of the A team, the iPhone. The difference with the iPhone is it innovates. Every year there's innovation. Every year there's iPods, there are AirPods, there's different apps, there's different cameras, there's different functions. You have to move forward. If you went into a gym 10 years ago and you went into a gym today, is it any different? Really? Is there much difference? If you went to a coach now as a coach 10 years ago, would there be much difference? And I'm going to say, yes, there's a little bit of different tech, but a phone 10 years ago is massively changing. So I feel in this industry, the I team is innovation. We need to be pushing the boundaries of what else can I do? If you're sitting with a client, what else can you do to make your service better? What else can you do to make your gym better? What else can you do to make your coaching better? What else can you do to make your coaching online service better? What else can you do to make your supplementation business better? What can you do to make your rehabilitation business better? What can you do to make your educational system better? No matter what business component you're in, there's always what else you can do. Innovate, 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 and then grow a team. So what I've done is, because I've grown my team on a regular basis, I've come up with a course called how to be an excellent coach, gym owner, or trainer. And what I'm going to do is, for everybody watching today, when I send you a link afterwards, I'm going to give 50% discount ending on Sunday night. All you need to do is use W50 as a code on the website. So to become an excellent coach, trainer, or gym owner, all you need to use the code W50 at the checkout and you get 50% off. And what it is it's 5-minute video. You get a 5-minute video every single day for 30 days. And what that does is gives you tips and tricks that you can implement every single day. It will upgrade your talent. It will give you the energy. It will give you the actionable things. And hopefully the mindset, you will grow. You have a growth mindset by the end of it, because every single day you're improving yourself. Okay, so that's it. I don't think I went too much over. I'm 33 minutes. Okay, I'm 7 minutes before the top and I'm 30 minutes over. So really thank you for your time and your attention. Please share this video with friends or colleagues that may be interested in it. The code for the 50% discount ends on Sunday night. The code is capital W50 at the capital W50. And I'll send you a link out to show you where the actual course is on the website, how to become an excellent coach, gym owner, and trainer in 30 days with 5-minute videos over the 30 days. Okay, guys, thank you so much for your time and appreciation, and have a great weekend.